Thursday, and it is a happy, almost end of the week, in a world in which the end of the week seems to have less significance than normally. But I am Danny Gregory, and this is the live drawing party for Thursday, May 14th. And today, as you can see here, we're going to draw some eyes. Why not? Eyes are interesting to draw. Eyes are, you need eyes to draw eyes. So I'm assuming you have eyes, and therefore you have beautiful models available. Two of them. Slightly different, probably one from the other. But yes, those are what we are going to draw today. You may not have drawn them since high school. Right? Remember the days of really focusing on drawing eyes, like a really cool eye. Hey, that looks totally like a photo, man. You're really awesomely talented. What happened to those days, But eyes are always a really cool thing to draw because they have, they're simple, they're incredibly complicated, depending on how you look at them with your eyes. So how are you all doing today? I see that there are people flowing into the room. It's raining in Oregon, where Carol Chapel is huddling. And yes, I do. Evan has noticed that I have a bit of an echo today. It's true. I am indoors in a room and instead of outdoors. But as you may be able to hear, there's a lot of noise going on outside because they're doing stuff. So noisy machines and the like. So I'm in here. And now, you can hear me many, many times over and over and over and over and over. Thanks to the wonderful thing about echoing. So anyway. All right. Who else? Marilyn has just slid in here from Washington Heights. MC McDonald, my favorite MC, is coming from Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia. I love to watch shows about guys fixing cars. It's my thing. And there's one that takes place, I think it's in Nova Scotia. And they have these kind of strange, almost Irish accents. Is it Nova Scotia? I might be casting some horrible aspersion on you, I'm sorry. Let me switch to things I know a bit more about. Irmgard, who is up very late and who is actually enjoying Friday because she is in Adelaide, Australia. I have never been to Adelaide, although I did spend some formative years in Canberra, the capital of Australia. Anne-Marie is already expressing some concern about our project today, saying having expression in eyes is hard for me. My eyes are serious. I want happy eyes. Well, drawing them will make you happy. So maybe the expression in your eyes is seriousness. That's what we'll be focusing on today. What else? Timmy Karapidis. Karapidis? Hello on Facebook. I'm not sure where you are. Mary Mulligan's in Tennessee, where it is nice and warm. It's nice and warm here in Phoenix, although less so. I've now been in Phoenix for long enough that when it's 90 degrees, I say to my wife, it's not very warm today. It's a little chilly. In fact, last night I was sitting outside and decided we need to have a fire. God, here comes the lawnmower. I apologize for this. Please bear with me and with the gardener out there mowing the lawn. I would do it, but I don't really know how. I'm a city person. Yes, so, all right, what else? You know what I wanted to do today? I wanted to talk about, well, first of all, just let me get this business out of the way, because that is my want, and that is to mention my list, all right? There's probably a small handful of you out there who have yet to go to sketchbookskool.com/Danny's-list and sign up for my email list. Just do it. Just do it right now, okay? In fact, we're all going to wave. All right, that's long enough. You should have been able to do it by now. It takes but a second, but a thrice, and then you will be signed up to get emails from me. I'm sending one out tomorrow. It's a doozy. But every week I think of something. I might write about lawnmowers this time. Yeah, literally now a lawnmower. I'm sorry. Yes, so each week I talk about something, or write about something, and a lot of people actually have been taking to writing back to me, misunderstanding the idea of a newsletter, and mistaking it for personal correspondence, which I don't mind at all, honestly. I jest, but I'm glad to be able to talk to you. So yesterday I wrote over 50 email responses. Take this noisy time to sign up for sketchbookskool.com/Danny's List. So yes, I spent the day writing emails back to people, so hopefully some of you got them, if you did. And Greta points out that it's better than construction tearing up the road. Yes. Yes, in New York, I always had construction tearing up the road outside of our house, and then we left, so we have this now instead. Oh my God. Okay. Let's hope that this doesn't dissolve into tears soon. Anyway, here's an idea. While we're waiting for this, let's watch this video. It comes from a course that I made, or the rest of us made, called Seeing. Some of you may have taken it many years ago. Some of you may not have taken it. It's a course that I'm particularly proud of, but I wanted to share one moment from you, and maybe the leaf blower will stop when we're gone while we're watching this.
When I was little, it seemed everyone had glasses. My mother, my grandparents, my relatives, my friends. I thought they made people look cool or more grown up. So if I wanted to become one or the other, or both, I had to get my own glasses. When I was 14, I told my mother I was getting headaches and thought I needed glasses. She took me to the doctor. As he looked into my eyes with a gizmo, I crossed them slightly. Amblyopia, the doctor told my mom. Strabismus, heterotropia, something like that. His eyes are slightly crossed. He needs glasses. I spent a long time picking out frames.
Danny?
Well.
When my glasses finally arrived, I put them on excitedly. A week later, my mom asked me where they were. Why aren't you wearing your glasses? They were expensive. I didn't want to tell her they gave me a headache, and so, conveniently, I'd lost them. A decade later, I married a girl with glasses. I got in-laws with glasses. Then I had a son. He got glasses too. In my mid-40s, I started getting headaches again. I could only read in bed with a lamp on. I had a tough time with restaurant menus. My friends called it short arm syndrome. Someone lent me a pair of drugstore glasses. I was amazed at how much better I could see. It had been so gradual, but it was beyond denying. Presbyopia. A gradual thickening and loss of flexibility of the lens inside my eyes that make it tough to focus on things that are near. I like my glasses for what they do for me. I'm less thrilled about what they say about me. Welcome to middle age. So far, I don't wear my glasses when I draw. I can see what I'm drawing without them, and not being able to see the page clearly is fine. I know what I'm making, and there's the added pleasure of putting on my glasses when I'm done, to examine the lines on the page as they really look. My eyes have brought me a lot of pleasure. I count on them to make a living, to make art, to pluck my gray hairs, and I'll need them for a while to come, I hope. Nonetheless, they are changing. A reminder that every day, so am I, and so is everything I see.
All right. I enjoyed making the film. I made it a number of years ago, but I come back to it and look at it again and again. It's a good reminder. Maybe you've looked at it again since you signed up or didn't sign up. I know somebody said, "Oh, I've heard Seeing is a good course." You're damn right it is. Seeing is the course you need to take after you've got the kind of rudiments of drawing down. You're like, yeah, I kind of know how to draw. I've taken how to draw that talent, or I've taken Artist Boot Camp. Seeing is the class in which you start to become an artist. You start to see like an artist. It's not as obvious as it sounds. Seeing the world through artists' eyes is an incredible gift. So, that was one of the earlier videos. But it's not just me blathering. You can hear other people blathering in this class too. No lawnmowers though, or leaf blowers, or chainsaws. I cut a tree down this morning. Anyway, let's start drawing eyes. Get your eye out. Get one eye. I'm just going to draw one eye today. Let's just draw one eye. See how it turns out. So, the thing about eyes that you need to remember, which may seem obvious, but isn't necessarily when you draw, eyes are spheres, essentially. Right? Not perfect spheres, but they are three-dimensional. And a key thing about drawing eyes and giving them a sense of realism is to recognize that what they are, which is that they're spheres. And they're spheres encased in a little kind of bag, which is your eye. Your eyelids. Bag, I say? Bags? Why I spent so much money on surgery. These don't look like bags anymore. They look like designer bags. These are Prada bags that I have around my eyes. It's true. It's true. As you can see, I've had an enormous amount of work done on these things, and that's why I look as youthful as I do. Thank you, by the way, for whoever pointed out that I look disheveled. It's true. I am disheveled. I am the dictionary definition of dishevelment, dishevelitude. Why? I don't know. Did I tell you? I'm in quarantine during the global pandemic. Right. Yeah, so anyway, that. I don't know. I keep forgetting to mention that that's where I am. In case you're like, why does he look as... I mean, he looks even more horrible than normal. More sort of disheveled. But yes, I do. I am. However, my wife did threaten to give me a haircut tomorrow. I was talking to my friend Tommy Kane yesterday, and he has this enormous beard. I've shown you before. He has this enormous beard, and Evan, I'm afraid you're going to have to endure this lawnmower outside. And Anne, no, we will not be offending our eyes. If your eye offends you, pluck it out. That's from the Bible. Right? If thine own eye offend thee, pluck it out. Not sure where in the Bible, but we won't be doing that. My eyes don't offend me. I love my eyes. As I said in that video, they've given me an awful lot of pleasure in my life. So yes, so Tommy Kane still has this enormous beard. However, he managed to shave his head somehow. So that solved one problem. I have that option too. nature has shaven part of my head already, as you can see. But do I want to finish the job? I don't think so. It seems a bit, I don't know. A little Taxi Driver, a little Breaking Bad. Not really my style. So anyway, so when you're drawing an eye, really look at the reflections and really look at the thickness of the eyelids, because this line here is an important thing, because it really it describes that thickness that the eyelid has. And it may not all be light like that. In fact, in my case, part of it is darker. And then this part here, let me zoom in on it, this is definitely darker, right? Because the light is coming from above, and this part is really in shadow. So when you look at those kinds of things, you realize how three-dimensional all these elements are of the eyeball and the eye socket, right? And then this is sort of where we see the eyelashes kind of protruding. So there's that element. And then there's this line up here, which I've made a little thick. There's this line up here, which is sort of the, particularly as you get older, you end up having like a series of these kind of concentric circles almost that are the various skin folds and other pleasant things that surround the eye. And then you have this area up here that is another sort of area that goes in a bit, in my case, and it is in shadow. And then, so that's the basic structure. And then there's also an area around here, that's a bit intense, which is really in shadow as well. Again, your eye socket is going in, and so therefore you have these various levels to it, okay? And then, what else? You have some stuff underneath here, which depends on how far you want to go down there. And then there's this whole area here. So if my nose is kind of there's this whole area here, which is also in shadow, because it's, this sort of business in there. Yeah. So this part is in shadow as well. En garde, stop worrying about the technology now. Focus on your drawing. Don't make me come down there. This is the magic of Sketchbook School, that we can have iPads that appear to make drawings on their own. It's one of the many miracles of what we do here. Okay, so now we have this part, which I've exaggerated a bit because it's really that sort of reddish part that goes right in there, right? And then we have, I'm going to try and indicate that the eyeball is sort of going down here, right? It's kind of curving in, and it is getting darker as it curves in. And then, of course, there's this part which is also curved, and this is in the shadow up here. This is in the shadow of this eyelid above it. So that's also kind of in darkness. These are all things that you start to observe in your eye. And then, of course, I'm going to just color in the pupil black right now. I'll come back to whether it's really black. But essentially, okay, so there's a whole area of reflection that's happening on the side of my eyeball, in here, basically. And the cornea, is that what it's called? Or no, this is the iris, right? The iris is, it's a little dark in here, so I can't see it exactly, but it's essentially almost like like a starburst of colored lines and different depths to them. As you know, irises are unique. Everybody's iris is different. They can be like fingerprints. So you can really get into studying them. I'm kind of exaggerating it and sort of stylizing this at the moment because I'm going to do something. Because the thing that I want to ultimately get to, I just want to lay down basically some color, not color exactly, but shade, surface work with shading in it, because I want to come back in with my eraser, and I want to start to add some highlights. Because there's a lot of light in this room, and you're not able to really see it yet because you need, obviously, the only thing that's really pure white in my eyeball isn't the whites of my eyes, because they're not really white, particularly if you've been doing as much drinking as I've been doing. But the whites of my eyes are, of course, thrown into shadow. They're also covered with liquid, and they have a slight color to them, because nothing in your body is pure white. It would be kind of distracting unless you have spent an enormous amount of money on having your teeth bleached, which I've been meaning to get to. Maybe if I do a lot more YouTube videos, I'll have to start doing things like that so that I really, look the part. Because right now, I look a little. Unfortunately, I have English teeth. Being English, coming from English people, these teeth have been marinated in strong tea for many generations, and therefore have lost the kind of pearly quality that you see in American teeth. Because poor nutrition, too much tea, the Blitz, rationing, the Black Death, a lot of things that have lessened the quality of my genes. Irmgard mentions her glasses enlarging her eyes, which is certainly a thing to think about when you're drawing. I mean, one of the good things about wearing glasses when you draw is that you have a natural frame that sits around your eye. It's like, so if, theoretically, I'll draw my glasses on another frame, but another thing. But say I was going to draw my glasses, which I'm not. They would be basically a frame that sits around my eye. So it's kind of useful in that sense because you can say, okay, this is how far it is away from my glasses here or there, right? But we're not going to draw glasses. Take my glasses off. But yeah, you see, the interesting thing about doing a drawing like this is your eye becomes completely an abstraction. It becomes just a series of planes of light and darkness. And, basically shapes, right? Because you have these various shapes, these various kind of sort of long, thin, almost rectangular shapes that are the various levels of your eyelid, right? And those each cast light. They reflect light because they're skin, skin, particularly if you have the kind of youthful and dewy complexion that I have, is just full of light. But even if you're aged and slack-faced and sallow, your skin is still has different levels of light and dark in it. And so you can study those and really observe how the light is creating really that shape. The shape is being created by the light. Not by the edges, but by the way the light falls onto the planes. So, as you continue to work your way through this, you get more and more kind of complex. You have more and more of an observational thing, like you're just noticing more and seeing more. Because again, eyes, when we think about eyes, like, that kind of a thing, the sorts of eyes that we all learned to draw when we were kids. Crashed again. Today's technology is not my friend, clearly. So, yeah, I don't want you either. Okay. Yeah, so this happens occasionally with the iPad, is you find that it can crash. Not crash, it doesn't crash the way a regular computer crashes, but it can freeze. And you have to sort of quit the application and come back to it. So that's what I just did. So, going back in now. Because another thing about doing this kind of drawing is you're always going back and noticing new things. And you're also noticing that an area that you thought was relatively dark the first time you drew it is actually darker relative to something else. So you have to always go back and forth and be adjusting the levels of things. That's part of the dance of doing a drawing, is saying, you know what, I thought that this, I initially indicated this like, yeah, this is darker than what's directly next to it, but now that I've worked on some area on the other side of the drawing, I'm realizing, no, it actually needs to be darker still. And, that's part of what you do. You don't want to go too far. You don't want to make choices too early in the drawing that are going to hamstring you later on. So if you made an area really dark initially, and then it may not match up with something, and particularly if you're just not drawing with an iPad, but drawing with a pen on paper, you will suddenly be really limited by that decision you made earlier. So it's better to keep adding later on than it is to be too kind of decisive early and then have to kind of contend with that decision that this earlier version of you made. Let's see now. Okay, so I'm going to make these sort of... Don't be frightened by what I'm doing right now. It's just an eyebrow. This is a quarantine eyebrow, because I haven't been able to go to my salon and get my eyebrows threaded, as I usually do every week. Mani, pedi, the whole shebang. Are people ever going to be able to get manicures again? Probably. Here in Phoenix, it would appear that the pandemic has ended. That's the way they're carrying on here. Whereas in New York, people are still, completely locked down. Here in Phoenix, they're talking, I think this weekend, they're going to be opening movie theaters. I have no idea what they're thinking. Why? It just seems like a recipe for disaster, but that's what they're doing. Who am I to... I'm a visitor here. I'm a new resident. I'm not going to start questioning the decisions of the authority figures here. But I gotta say, they've already opened restaurants, and this weekend they're opening, or maybe they've already opened gyms. Gyms! Can you imagine being next to somebody else, huffing and puffing, sweating, doing all the other nice things that people do in gyms to share their bodily fluids with you? No, not really what I plan to do. I plan to Rather than going to the gym, I plan to have a vigorous, rigorous workout with a gin and tonic in a chaise longue with a really good book that I'm reading right now. Have almost finished. In fact, I plan to finish it later today. It is called In the Distance. It's one of the most amazing books I've read in a while. I won't really go into it because this is not a show about books. This is a book show about. It's not even a show. This is whatever it is about drawing eyeballs. So let's not get confused by talking about books. But in any case, another cool thing about drawing eyes like this is you get to enjoy the sedative pleasures of cross-hatching. Cross-hatching, one of these things that you can just do endlessly. Just keep going. Okay, so now I'm noticing another thing, which is that this eyelid here is, of course, also casting a shadow down onto the eyeball below. And I haven't really indicated it strongly enough because it is quite a presence there. And, we need to indicate that adding a couple of white eyebrows. Another pleasure of aging. I think when you look in your eyes, that's when you really see how old you are. But it's okay. It's all right. We're still here. We're old. We're decrepit. But we're wise, right? Or some of us are. Sometimes. Yeah, so, we're, our eyes, think about all the things that you've seen, right? I mean, of all your senses, all your organs of sense, which one has done the most work? Which one deserves to look just a little weather-beaten, a little used up? Why, of course, it's your eyes. It's got to be. So your eyes are, somebody said it earlier, the gateway to your soul, are they? Or are they merely the road map of your life? Are they just simply, all these facial tattoos that you have given yourself over the decades by peering through these two little holes in your skull, the world, right? And glad of it, because honestly, where would we be if we couldn't see? We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be looking at videos, and we probably wouldn't be drawing. Or at least, if we were drawing, we wouldn't be able to tell whether what we were drawing sucked or not. So maybe that would be a bit of a relief. For those of you who are on my list, I think the thing I'm going to send you tomorrow is about the nature of seeing, because I've been thinking about that a lot. I've been thinking a lot about David Hockney. David Hockney is the artist who I think means the most to me over the years. I think he's the one who's had the biggest influence on my thinking. I wish on my drawing. Unfortunately, probably just more on my thinking. And he talks so much about the nature of seeing, and his work is so much about seeing. He is not an artist who is conjuring things up from his mind by and large, although certainly that is a factor in what he makes. But he is always drawing from observation, painting from observation. So he's really interested in that way in which artists see. He David Hockney, he's still alive, for those of you who are wondering. Although the way he's been carrying on recently, it makes you wonder, because he apparently, he loves to smoke, and he loves to rationalize smoking. And somebody said that he was saying that he had heard that if you smoke a lot, that actually prepares your lungs for the assault of the coronavirus, and therefore, he was safer than most. Given that he's like 2,000 years old, he's not, he's in his 80s, and he's smoked all his life, I would just chill out with that. But he has moved to France rather than California because you can smoke there. That's really the main motivation, he claims, for moving to the French countryside, is because you can smoke there. Whatever. Maybe it's time to take up smoking again. What do you think? I'm sure a lot of us smoked at one point in our lives, and a lot of us have stopped doing that, but I'm sure it still haunts you. Smoke gets in your eyes. Kate asks, does anyone know someone who's had or has the virus? Yes, I know many people who've had the virus. You know me, and I know people. My wife and I also believe that we had it ourselves in New York in January. We were both really sick with a flu unlike any we've ever had before, and we had no idea what it was at the time. We like to think that that's what it was, but we're not taking any risks. We're not assuming that we're somehow safe. We're not. None of us is. But yes, I know a lot of people. In fact, we had a person in our family pass away last week. We're not sure if it was to do with the virus. It isn't entirely clear, but there were things that indicated it, and it's one step removed away from us in the family, so we can't really pry and ask a lot of questions about it. But the funeral was yesterday. But yes, we have a lot of people in New York who have had it. That's the only person who has actually passed away. But yeah, it's not a myth. It's happening. It's real, folks. Yes. Thistle says that a friend of hers had something like it back in January. Well, I mean, New York is where they say it started, at least in the United States. It started in New York, which makes sense. It is the greatest place. It is the leading edge of all things. It is the trend-setting place. So of course, we were lucky enough to get it there. But yeah, we got it sick, and I thought it was my son had just come to visit us from California. And I was like, oh, thanks a lot for bringing me a cold, because he came with a cold, but it wasn't, what we had was not a cold. If I am ever sick with the flu, which I am occasionally, I'll spend a day in bed. I spent 3 days in bed, my wife spent 4 or 5 days in bed, and we continued to be kind of plagued with it for the better part of a month afterwards. But I don't know, at the time it was just like, it's a cold, it's a flu, get over it. But then suddenly, no. But I don't know. All right, that's enough eyes. That's it. That was fun. This is still up there. As a reminder to you to sign up for Danny's list, and tomorrow I'll send you an email. But well, that was enjoyable. I hope that you did a nice drawing too. That if you did, you'll share it with me by putting hashtag SBS Drawing Party on it and putting it on social media, Facebook, Instagram, the platform of your choice, the schoolyard. Chu-Wei says, go get antibody testing. Yeah, easier said than done, Chu-Wei. This is America. We don't have those things. I mean, maybe some people do. I don't know. So, let's stop talking about that nonsense. Who cares? Of course we care. Let's talk instead about the Saturday. Saturday is going to be the next workshop. I was just talking to Onmar about an hour ago. She's super excited. Lots and lots of people have signed up for this. It's going to be amazing. And it's going to be at noon Eastern on Saturday. If you haven't signed up, you're out of luck. We've closed the sign-ups. You'll have to wait for the next one that we do. But in the meantime, it's going to be really, really fun. So, let's see. Anne-Marie has gotten over her fear. Taught me a different way to draw an eye, yes. This is the way to draw an eye. There's only one way, the Gregorian way. We've now learned it. Let me show you, generally I don't draw eyes like this. Generally I draw a circle with another dot in the middle. But it was good. So, I'm now going to go out and enjoy this freshly mown lawn. All the leaves have been blown away. All the leaves are blown, and the sky is blue. Arizona dreaming. Something. I'm a songwriter. Yes, so Debbie has signed up for Art Boot Camp. Debbie, you have given yourself the greatest gift there is, which is the gift of Art Boot Camp. What is Art Boot Camp, you people ask? It's 6 weeks of ecstasy in which you will learn to draw, to paint, to watercolor, to use color, to think, and you will emerge from it a changed person. And then you will slide into seeing. If you haven't taken seeing, again, this is your opportunity. If you aren't going to do the workshop tomorrow for some reason, because you missed it, sign up for seeing and do that instead. If you are taking the workshop and you want to go even deeper, seeing. So yes, let us meet again next week on Tuesday. If you have any ideas you want to share with me, if you want to make any recommendations about how I do this, what I should do, where I should do it, what you'd like to see, what you'd like to learn, what you'd like to experience, what you'd like me to talk about, let me know. I have many gifts, but mind reading is not one of them. So please write to me if you'd like. And if you want to know how, well, sign up for sketchbookschool.com/Danny's List, and I will email you and you can reply to me. Reply to my email, and then we'll be in touch. We'll be best buds, drawing pals. That would be really nice. Okay, thank you for joining me. It was really nice. I hope you have a weekend. Make it a weekend, folks. Don't just continue, binge something else if you must. Get out there, get a haircut. I'm going to get a haircut. Should I trust her, my wife, to cut my hair? I think I look pretty good already. So when I see you next week, or if I see you on Saturday, because I'll be hosting this workshop, and if I look like I've just had brain surgery, we'll know who to blame. If I look like Yul Brenner, we'll know who to blame. If I look like an Adonis, well, you might not even notice that it was my hair. It's different. Thank you for joining me and indulging me. I'll see you on Tuesday or Saturday or in your email box tomorrow.